off, let's just start off with the whole goodness gracious. It's Robin Lehner kind of woke up one day and chose violence. So he goes on this like epic rampage on Twitter and just throws some names out there. He mentions obviously Jack Eichel and Jack Eichel's situation going on in Buffalo, and also the fact that apparently Nolan Patrick was getting medicine from Elaine Vigneault, who is the head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, Nolan Patrick is over in Vegas, of course, but that's just some of the tweets that he sent. And did y'all get a chance to go through and look at some of the tweets at all? What's some of your thoughts? Is he crazy, or do you view him as crazy, or is this something good that he's speaking out? How do y'all feel on this?
Yeah, I saw some of his tweets. I don't know. It kind of felt like he was yelling at a cloud. Like,
I can imagine. That's like a perfect. That's like a perfect visual for me right now. I can just imagine Robin Lehner. Rah, 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 yelling
like
at
I
the
love
cloud.
Leonard that he says all this stuff and he doesn't give a crap about what other people think, and he's good enough to do it too. But like, I don't know, man. Come on.
I did not see the tweets, but I listened to the little press conference thing that he had, where they talked about it a little bit, and it seemed like something that was really bothering him personally. So I could see why he would have done it, but yeah, it's definitely a little crazy the way he did it.
Okay, so this is what I'm just gonna mention. One of the first little. I'll just pick one of the tweets. I don't know. There's so many. Okay, so this one is specifically about Eichel. Okay, so he says, Sabres fans, we didn't love each other much, which, geez, I can't imagine a hockey player coming out and even saying that. Was warranted against me, some were not. So he even mentioned the fact that, some of the hate he was receiving was deserved. And, that's big of an NHL player to mention that, especially on social media. Did my best, but I respect your passion for the franchise. The situation with your captain, who was mine, should be as big of a problem for you as for me. I know your hearts are in the right place. So, that's one of the easier, lesser tweets that have been going on. But, he goes on he talks about Eichel a little bit, and then he talks about his own treatment when he was in Buffalo. This is another one. They screwed my ankle big time, then surgery and then pills, no care, almost died. But after forcing leg press after a few weeks, after bad high ankle sprain first game. That is foot after treatment. Later is my soul gone after a month after surgery. It's not all pretty. So, and he's got a picture that accompanies that tweet, and it looks bad. So there's all that situation again about, can you actually trust team doctors to actually look out for you? And I think he's trying to put some doubt into the minds of some NHL players.
Well, we didn't even mention the one that I thought was big was talking about giving players Ambien and stuff on the planes just to make them sleep. Like,
right. I think that's the Philadelphia Flyers thing, I think, if I remember correctly.
Like, are they like forcing pills down people's throats? Like, because that's what he makes it sound like.
Well, I don't think he meant to make it sound like that, but he did mention that, hey, they're giving prescription pills to players who are not prescribed these pills. So, so this is the one I think is what you're talking about, Chris. Is it common for workplaces to give out benzodiazepines, or I don't know how to pronounce that, to employees when they travel in Ambien? Should that not be done by doctors or psychiatrists? Asking for a friend, and he does the little eyes. This doesn't happen in Vegas, to be clear, but I know many other teams. I also been on teams that do. And then in the same thread, he mentions Philadelphia Flyers, and specifically Elaine Vigneault. So he eventually did backtrack on that a little bit and say, that he wasn't for sure about that or whatever. So, is this a good thing for a player like this to speak out, or is this seem just like you were saying, Chris, just like a crazy man yelling at a cloud?
I mean, it's good that there are players like this, so if there is actually a situation that needs to be talked about, that someone can. But like all this stuff, like obviously the team doctors thing is an issue, but I feel like that's a one franchise issue with Buffalo, and if that's the case, they're gonna get what is coming to them in the shape of people not wanting to go to Buffalo. So
They already don't.
exactly.
Despite the whole
Yeah, this whole
team doctors thing.
This whole Eichel thing is not just about Eichel. It's gonna impact the Buffaloes for however long their front office stays the same and all that too. So I don't think that's really a NHL wide big deal that needs to be addressed. I think that's more so a individual franchise stuff, and like the sleeping pill stuff, I guarantee that is widely exaggerated. Like they're probably offering people sleeping pills on the planes whenever they have a back-to-back game and they gotta fly to a place. So,
Well, but technically that's illegal. You can't do that without a prescription for that specific
he
player.
said Ambien. I don't know if I believe that. I think they got normal over-the-counter sleeping pills. So,
Well, and he's also saying he's got proof to all of this too. So
where is it?
exactly, that is it. That was my thought too. Is like exactly okay. If this is what's happening, you got to not just say it, but show us the proof. Okay, and if that's the case,
And
put it on Twitter.
I think that's a big problem of why it's wrong the way he did it. Because if he has proof about it, he doesn't want to expose that and expose the whole league that he says that he enjoys playing in the NHL, like in the press conference afterwards. But it just like he put himself in a bad situation by saying it on Twitter.
Well, and just like with it being a whole strain over like a short period of time, it's like he just got bored and he just wanted to talk about everything. Like, what is he trying to accomplish here? It doesn't. It seems like he wants one guy to get fired, and he's mad at doctors.
But then he goes on.
and
But
then
he
says,
goes
"Oh,
on.
the doctors are great, and I love
Right.
Vegas." And what?
Well, and then he goes on to say, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought there. He goes on to say that he loves the NHL. He wants the NHL to be successful and stuff like that. And I'm like, but
Exactly.
you're gonna down the league that pays you $5 million a year, and I still don't know how I feel about this because I love I'm kind of with you, Chris. I love the fact that there's a player out there that's willing to talk about stuff like that, and it's not taboo. You get the typical interviews, at post game, yeah, we just didn't get the pucks deep enough, and we didn't shoot enough pucks to score and stuff like that. But with Robin Lehner, what I love about him is that you get something different from him, and he's really not. He doesn't give a rat's butt about anything that he says, if it's controversial or whatnot, and I kind of like that. In this case, I think it backfired on him a little bit. In this particular case.
Well, it didn't really backfire. It just didn't go anywhere. Like, it doesn't hurt him. Like, everybody in the NHL knows he's a crazy dude. So it's just like, okay, Robin Lehner said something crazy.
Well, I wouldn't call him crazy because he's dealt with some mental health stuff. But what I will say is,
I didn't mean like that.
yeah, I know. I'm just clarifying so people don't construe you the wrong way and go after you on Twitter and stuff like that, because they do, believe it or not. But the one good thing that did come out of this is it seemed like, because the NHL did reach out to Robin Lehner, and they did have a conversation with him, and they even made a press release on NHL.com about it. And it seemed like he had a really good conversation, not just with the NHL, but with also the NHLPA. And coming out of that meeting, a couple of the things that stuck out to me that he said is, one, he's mostly looking out for younger players, which that's great. Great. Okay. That probably should have been something you should have mentioned when you were ranting on Twitter. He's like, I'm just trying to look out for the younger guys. Cause I think at this point, Robin Lehner is in his late 20s, 27, 28, something like that. And the second thing that came out of this is that he acknowledged that the way he did it publicly is not the right way to do it. Even though it was kind of fun to watch it come out on Twitter. He came out of that meeting, understanding that the most effective way to take care of the situations and the things he wants to be fixed within the NHL, it needs to be done in more of a private manner. And
I don't know if I agree with that fully, because like if what he's saying is really true, like all doctors
then we need to
in the
know
NHL
about
are
it,
against
right?
it, then
Yeah.
then yeah, definitely make it public. But like that's the thing, is I don't know if what he's saying or the picture that he's painting is the full picture. It obviously isn't, but I think he's painting a very specific part that he wants to show, and that's not really the way most of the NHL works.
So, it's just a weird news story, right? It's just kind of like some good things came out of it. Some things he probably shouldn't have done came out of it. He did get an audience with the NHL and the NHLPA, though. And maybe that's just what he wanted to begin with. But I don't understand why you couldn't just, reach out and say, hey, can we talk about some issues? So we'll see how this goes and see if there's anything else that comes out of this. I wouldn't expect anything else based off of his comments about the whole, doing it private matter. But we'll see. Maybe there's something he just can't stand, and he'll tweet about it again. So